Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, in this lecture, we are going to start with our new topic that would be Python modules, and we would be discussing some functions as well, like lambda and map function. In this lecture, uh, I have told you in the previous lecture that the previous lecture that we have covered was our last lecture, but there were some small and important topics would be which I like to discuss with all of you guys, which are small topics, but yeah, can be asked in exams sometimes, or you can say if your college is scheduling some MCQ based exams, they can ask in it, and there are very important topics as well. So we are going to discuss them now. So starting with our new topic. So we are gonna discuss Python modules first. After that, we would be covering functions like lambda function and uh, map function. But before that, we would be covering modules. Now, what are modules? So, module is basically a Python file .py extension file, which contains some functions, variable, classes, etc. Now, why is there a need to use modules? So we are basically using modules so that we can maintain our code nicely, and the reusability of code we can use means we can reuse our code. So now there are two types of modules. First one is you can say our built-in modules, which are there in Python by default, and another one is user-defined modules. Now, first we are gonna discuss user-defined modules. So for that, I am making a new file, that is calculator.py. Now, first we are discussing some built-in modules. User-defined modules. Now, user-defined modules are those modules which are defined by some programmer or a user. So, what basically is the module, as I've told you, is that it is a Python file. Like we have make a Python file .py, calculator.py. So in that we have some functions, and when we call that a function, they perform some tasks. So they like we have studied in functions, that function are used so that reusability of the code is performed, and also we when we when we are performing some tasks, we can call our function. Now more easier than that is by using modules. We can call our modules anytime. Let's suppose I in our calculator.py file, I have a function which is def add, and I am taking two parameters, a comma b, and after that, okay, and after that I am performing some function like return a plus b, which would return some value to me, and after that you can say I am making another function, that is def subtract. It would subtract two numbers, okay, and it would return a minus b. Now whenever I want the addition or subtraction of two numbers, I can simply just call these two functions, and I don't have to write the whole code again and again. So I can simply write import calculator. Now where does this calculator came from? This came from our file name, that is calculator.py. So we are importing our calculator. Now when we are importing our calculator, we can print the operation of any two numbers. Means we can add two numbers or we can subtract two numbers. Like we can print calculator. First we will write our uh, function name. After that we will use a dot operator and after that add. So because add is our function and we can give it any value. Suppose I give 3 comma 5. Now it would add 3 and 5. Now suppose I make another uh, uh, means I want to print another statement which is subtracting two numbers 10 comma 5, let's suppose. Now if I save it and try to run, you can see we are getting 8585, means add the sum would be 8 and subtraction would be 5. So it is printing two times because we have returned our statement. But if we don't want to return, we can also not use return and also make simple function which is uh, adding and subtracting two values. So now this is our inbuilt user defined module, which in which I can give some instructions to my function and it is performing that instruction. Now whenever I want to calculate the addition or subtraction of two numbers, I can simply just call my function. I don't have to write again this whole statement, def add return a plus b, def subtract a minus b. I don't have to write all these, just I can call by importing my file and after that performing these operations. Now, so let me mark my topic name, import calculator. Sorry, modules. So here the first module that we discussed was our user defined module. User defined module. So this was our user defined module. And I am also writing applications of modules. Why modules are used. So first application is that uh, it helps in code reusability. It helps in code reusability. After that, our second would be it helps in maintenance of the code. Other applications, or you can say importance of module. Other importance I have mentioned in the notes. So do check out the notes as well. It helps in maintenance of the code. Okay. Now, so this were our user defined module. Now there are some built-in modules which Python gave us by default. So if I comment it out, now there are some modules which Python gave us automatically or by default that are inbuilt modules. Inbuilt modules. Now there are some inbuilt modules which we can simply occupy from our Python functions. So I don't think you have any doubt what are modules. So basically they are like suppose I am making a game or project. So there are some uh, functions that perform only a specific task. So these functions are enclosed inside a module. So when we call them, they perform a specific task in a project or if I am making a game. So they can basically perform some specific tasks like add is for returning the sum. So subtraction is returning the uh, subtraction of two numbers. So basically they are built so in order to perform some specific task in a function, or you can say in a project. So like for suppose if I give you a real life example, if we are making Maggie, so we use our masala to add some spice. We use water to perform some operation. So consider Maggie as a process, and in those consider the outcome. Suppose our Maggie is ready to eat. So our output is ready, means our project is ready. Now there are some functions inside it which are performing specific tasks, like we add masala to create some spice in it, we add some water so that to add some uh, means to add a recipe in it. Okay, so these are some operations inside a project. So now we would use inbuilt modules which are provided by Python itself. So I would be using my math module. So now what does our math module does? It does some operations, like for suppose I want to print the square root of a number. It would print that. Suppose I want factorial of a number. So I don't have to write the whole code for writing factorial or square root. I can simply call my math module and it would print uh, any math operation. Suppose I for that I first write import. Now import means we are using some function. Now which function we have to use? Import math. Why we use import math? Because we want to import some math operations like square roots, square of two numbers, multiplication, like that. Now we have imported math. After that we can print math dot, and we want to print square root of 49, so I will write sqrt of 49. Now if I save it and try to run, now you can see we are getting a 7 value, which would be in floating point. So this thing you have to remember. So this was how we are importing our inbuilt functions like math. We can also print square root of a number. So I write math dot square root. Sorry, math dot factorial. Suppose I write this and I want to find the factorial of 5. So I can also print that. Now for the first question we are getting 7 as we have checked. Now for factorial of 5 we know that it is 120, so we are getting 120. So this was the case of built-in functions. Now suppose I only want our factorial method. I don't want whole math module. So I would write simply from math, means from our math module. Now math module has lot of functions. Math module is performing a lot of functions like square root, factorial, square of two numbers. So basically math is a module in which there are many functions inside it, like some math has some subparts, you can say. One thing is printing this, one thing is printing this, and like this. Like in our calculator.py, we have some tasks, like we have some functions like a plus b, a minus b. So calculator.py is our module. Inside that we are having functions. So this is our module. So we are importing like this. From math, means from math module we are importing. So we will write import only factorial. So I would write factorial. Now I can print the factorial. So I would write print factorial of 6. So if I try to print, now we know factorial of 6 is 720. So it would print 720 like this. So we can also print some specific function from a given module. Like we are having a module math and we are importing factorial function. Now after this, uh, we have a topic that is random module. Now, what does random module means? Like you have seen, okay, before that, random module is basically it gives us random values. Now, what do you mean by random values? So, suppose like you have seen the game of head and tails. In that we are when we toss our coin, we get some random value. Sometimes we get heads, sometimes we get tails. And suppose like we are playing Ludo. Sometimes we get 5, sometimes 6, sometimes 2. So we get random values. So like this is our random module, uh, which gives us some random values. So our first random module is random dot rand int. Now what does it do? Suppose let me take you with an example. Suppose we have I am printing random dot rand int for 1 comma 10. Okay, so before that we would import our random module. So I would write import random. So before using any module we have to import that. So I have imported my random module. So after that, what does random dot randint does is that we will give it a range. Like suppose I have given it a range 1 comma 10. So it would give me an integer value between 1 and 10, and both 1 and 10 are included. So I write here random dot randint. It gives a random value. So I would write here a comma b. It gives a random value between a and b, and both a and b are included. So now what does it mean? Means random dot randint would give a random value every time uh, when we enter some given range in it, and both the a and b means both 1 and 10 are included in it. So if I try to run this, we are getting 1. Now if I try to again run it, we are getting 1. So we are getting random values. Now this time we get 2. So we are getting random values. If I again, suppose I again try to run. Now this time we get 8. So we are getting random values. And both A and B are included. Means we can get both A and B also. So this was our random dot randint. Now another one is, so I write random integer instead of value. So now after this we are having another uh, random module, that is random dot random. Now what does it do? It gives us a floating point value between 0 and 1. So it gives the floating point value between 0 and 1. So what it is doing is it is giving us a random value between 0 and 1. So if I run this, first I have to import my random module. After that, sorry, after that I would simply write print random dot random. Now if I save it and try to run, we will get a floating point value between 0 and 1. Like you can see, we are getting some value like 0.883. Now if I again save it and try to run, we are getting a different value, this time 0.27. So in this case, we will get a floating point value between 0 and 1. Now our another random module would be our random dot choice. Now what we do is, suppose I have been given a number or a list of fruits. For example, first of all, I would import my random module. Now suppose I have been given a range of, sorry, a list of fruits. So I would give the name as fruits to my list, and I suppose I add some fruits to it like apple, mango, grapes, guava. I hope I have written the spelling of guava right. So after that, I can add one more fruit, that would be lychee. So now I have first imported my random module, and I have make a list of fruits list. So if I want uh, a random fruit uh, among the list of fruits, so I can simply write print. I want any random fruit, so I can write print random dot uh, my list name, that is sorry, random dot choice. So in the parenthesis, I would be writing my list name. So when I do this and save my program, so I'm getting apple as a random fruit. Suppose I again try to run. This time I get mango. So I am getting random values between a group of uh, fruits. So this was our random dot choice. Now, sorry. Now our next is random dot shuffle. Now suppose first I import my random module. Now suppose if I have a list of numbers. So suppose I have numbers as 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. So now I want to shuffle my list randomly. So I would write print random dot shuffle. Inside the parenthesis, I would write my number. So it would shuffle the list for me. Now if I save and try to run, we are getting none because we have not saved it in some variable. So we have to save it in some variable, or like we can print numbers after this. Now if I try to run, okay, so we have to save it, I guess, in some variable. Suppose I take a as variable. Now if I try to run, okay, let me see where we are going wrong. If I print my numbers, now if I try to print, now you can see our the elements of our list are shuffled. First we at first index, we were having 2. Now we were having 4. So the list is shuffled completely. So if we want to shuffle some values, we can use shuffle. Now another and last random module would be our random dot rand range. Now what does it do is first I am importing my random module. Now we have to print a random value between a range of numbers, so we can do that. So I would write print random dot rand range. So I can give my first value, like suppose like VS Code is suggesting first value start, second is stop, third is step, like we have studied in our uh, I guess we have studied it in our for loop, like we have studied for I in range. It is same. In range, first value is included and the stop value is not included, and the third value is step value. So if I write 1 comma 10, so it would print random values between 1 and 10, and 1 is included but 10 is not included, and we can also give it a step. So step we all know. So step is basically how many values we want to skip. So I by default we skip one value if we don't write anything, but here I am writing two. Now our 1 is included, 10 is not included, and 2 is also included. Sorry, 2 is our step. So if I save it and try to run, so we are getting a random value that is 1. So if I again save it and try to run, we are getting a random value 5. So we would get integer values by random.rand range. Now you would be asking to study our random modules, because sometimes like we are making a game of Ludo or any game of in which some dice operation is needed. So we can use our random module so that it gives random values, like when we play Ludo at our home and we dice the roll, we get random values every time we throw the dice. Like also if we are making a game with the help of Python, we can use our random function which would generate random values when the user will try to basically uh, run its turn every time. So it would randomly give different values every time to the user. So this was all about our module section. Now we would be discussing lambda function. Lambda function. Now what is our lambda function? So lambda function is basically mm, it is an anonymous function. So I'm writing here it is an anonymous function. Now why do we write lambda function? Why is there a need of using lambda function? Suppose if any one of you don't want that we define our function using def keyword, and we want it in a single line, we want our output in a single line, we don't want that first we define our function, then we perform some operation, then we call our function. We don't want to do all such tasks. We want that in a single line I am getting my output. So we for that we use our lambda function. So what is the syntax of lambda function? I would first use my lambda keyword, and after that I would be writing my arguments on which I have to perform some operations, and here I would write expression like what I have to perform, and I will store it in a variable. So here I write variable like this. So let me perform some question, then you would be able to understand more clearly. Now suppose we are doing a question of add two numbers. Now if we use our def keyword, so I am writing here with the help of def. So with the help of def, we would write like this: def add a comma b. We are getting, after that we are returning a comma b. Sorry, a plus b, and after that we are calling our function like this: print at 3 comma 5. Now if I try to run this, we are getting 8. So now I don't want this task that first I define my function and then return some value and then call my function. I want simply my output would be printed in only one line, so I can use my lambda keyword. So let me comment it out. Now I would write with the help of lambda function. Now, first we store it in a variable, like I have told you it in the syntax. So I would be using my variable, that is add. Now I would write my lambda keyword. After that, I want arguments. For that, for adding two numbers, I want two arguments. So I would write a comma b. Now, what perform operation I have to perform? I have to add both numbers. So I would write a plus b. Now, after that, we will simply call our function. I would call our function with the help of add, and after that, I can give it any value like 4 and 7. Now, after when I save it, so it is giving me 11. So this was how can we perform our lambda function with the help of a single line. So we don't have to write the function again and again. Now, if I scare our numbers, if I have to want the scare of our numbers, so scaring our numbers. So if I want to scare my numbers, suppose I make a variable scare, and after that I would use my lambda keyword. After that I would make argument. For scaring, I know I need only one argument, so I would be taking x. Now after that, what operation I have to perform? I would be performing x into x. So I would write x into x. Now after that, I can simply call my scare value 6. I want the scare of 6. So it is giving 6 scare 36. So this was how we would perform our lambda functions. So basically we can do two questions more of lambda functions, like uh, I have I want to print my string in uppercase, so I want to print in uppercase, so I want all the letters in uppercase. So for that I would make a function up, would use my lambda keyword. So after that, suppose I have a string s and I want upper of that, so I would write simply string dot upper and parenthesis, which would be empty. So I would simply print it for up, and the string I would be entering is Python. So I want Python in uppercase. Now if I try to run, so it is running. Now you can see Python is completely in uppercase. So this was how our string can be in uppercase. Now this was our lambda function. Now we would be discussing our map function. Now what does map function do is, uh, suppose I want to print numbers from, I want the square of numbers from which are present in list, like I have numbers from 1 to 5 in a list. I want to do the square of the numbers. So for that I would be using for loop. Like if I normally do this task, I would be using, first I have numbers which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I want to print the square of each and every number in a separate list. Suppose I have another list which is empty. Now for first I would iterate my number for I numbers. I would simply write I dot I into I dot append. Sorry, I would write list dot append into I. After that I would print my list. Now if I save it and try to run, now we are getting the square of each and every number like 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Now this is a long task. Now with the help of map function we can do it easily. Now why we use map function? It iterate over each and every element without using our for loop, and we have to write a small lines of code. So if I try to do this now, after this I would be using my map function. Suppose with the help of map I would be doing it with the help of map plus lambda. So I would be doing same task with the help of map plus lambda. Now, how we would be doing that task? Suppose I have done numbers list as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Suppose for first I would make a variable. Suppose I make number. No, suppose I make square. After that, I would I want to convert. I would use first my map. After that, I would lambda. Now after that our argument would be I. After that I write I into I. Now first I would write what operation I have to perform. After that I would write on what thing I have to perform my operation. So I want to perform my operation on all the numbers. So the variable is numbers. So I would write numbers on which I have to perform operations. So now I want all of this in our list. So I would make a list outside. Now I would print my square. Now if I try to run, you can see we are getting the same output, that is 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Now with the help of both map plus lambda we can print the length of the string as well. Suppose I have a string. I would write my topic name as printing length of the string with the help of map plus lambda. So now first we have a string that is you can say Python. You know, there are six characters in Python. So after that, I want to print the length of the string. So I would write length. I would store it in length variable. So now I would map the function, and in my lambda, I would write for any string, I would write length of string, and on which thing I have to print, I have to apply on string. So I would write string and I would print my length. If I save it, okay, so it is giving me an error. Let me see. Okay, let me try to make it in a list format. Okay, so it is not giving me the length of the string for now. Let me see where our issue is coming. First, I would be moving my list and this. Okay, so let us leave this question for now. Now, print uh, the string in uppercase. So, I would write printing the string in uppercase. So, suppose I take the string as same Python. Okay. After that, I use any like uppercase, or I can say up. After that, I would map it, and if I use lambda for my string, and I want string dot upper because I want to print the string in uppercase. Now, on which thing I have to perform this operation on string? So I would write string, and I would print my upper. Now, if I try to run, okay, I think VS Code is having some issues. So if I make a new terminal, okay, so I guess VS Code is some having some issues. But if you try to run it in your system, both the codes will definitely run. It is some issue of the VS Code that we are facing right now. So, so we have seen now our modules, uh, map function and lambda function, and how we can use our modules while making games like dice rolling, uh, or generating random values, etc. So now the last concept that we are going to discuss in this playlist would be our filter function. Now we have seen that uh, what map does is it iterate over each and every value, uh, and uh, basically change the values. So, now, but what filter does is filter. Like we have listened about the word filter. Filter separates the value. So it works similar to our map function, but yeah, it is also we can also write it in one line like we write map function, but filter filters the value. Suppose I have a number. I have means numbers in a list. I want to filter only the even numbers. So first of all, suppose I have a numbers list in which I am storing numbers from 1 to 10. Now I want only the our, you can say, even numbers. So I would store it in a variable. Now we would make a list because we want that numbers in a list. So now we use map after this. So now in this case we would be using filter. So now filter would be doing uh, the task of filtering only the even numbers. So we would use filter plus lambda. So we would filter our numbers that are even. So I would use my lambda. Now I would write x. Now I want only even numbers. So for even numbers we know x modulo 2 double equals to 0. Now we want to perform this operation on our uh, numbers. So I would write numbers. Now if I print my numbers, sorry, print my result. So after saving it, I'm getting a list of only even numbers that are 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So this was how we can use filter. We would be discussing two or three questions more of our filter. So let me write this question name, that is print even numbers from a given list. Print even numbers only from a given list of numbers. Now, similarly, we can also perform odd numbers. So I would be doing this in the same question. So for that, I would simply write x modulo 2 not equals to 0. It would give me odd numbers. If I try to run, we are getting numbers 13579. So this was how can we print odd numbers. So let me again correct it to even. So after this, our next question would be we have to print all the names that have length greater than 5. So suppose we have a list of names. Suppose I have Rahul. I I have Mayank. Now I have Tanmay. Another one is Juhi. Another you can take suppose Sonam. So now we have list of names and we want to filter only those names whose length is greater than 5. So when I try to print, for first I would store it in a result variable. Now I would use my list function first because we want the names in a list. Then my filter function which would filter the names. After that uh, I would use my lambda. Now, we want only those names which length are greater than 5. So I would use any suppose I take S. Now I want to print only those length of S if greater than 5. So length of our name should be greater than 5. And now, okay. So now we have to perform this on our names. So if and after that I want the result. So if I save it and try to run, so you can see Rahul has the length as 5. So it will not print because our length should be greater than 5. And other is Mayank. Mayank has 6 letters, so Mayank is printed. After that, Tanmay has 6 letters, so Tanmay is printed. Now Juhi has 4 letters, so it is less than 5, so it will not be printed. Sonam has also 5 letters, so it would not print it because we have to print only those names whose length is greater than 5. So it would only print Mayank and Tanmay. So this was how we can print all the names whose length are greater than 5. Now, one more question that we would be doing is that print. Okay, so print those names uh, whose first letter starts with capital A. I would write capital A. So suppose I have names like Arjun, Tanmay, Sahaj, Agam, Aman. Like this we have some names. So I want only those letters whose first I want only those names whose first letter starts with capital A. So I would be writing our result variable, and we want a list, so we write list, and after that filter. After that we would use our lambda function. For suppose I take S as our argument. Now we want that first letter should be capital A. So I would write S of 0. Now it would assess the first letter of name which if the first letter is equals to capital A. So now it would be the function should be applied on what names. So it would be applied on names. Now if I print my result. Now if I try to print it. It has given me the all the names that starts with capital A, that is Arjun, Agam, Aman. So this was our case of how can we print our names whose first letter starts with capital A. So these were some questions of map filter lambda function, and we can like we have seen I can combine all I can combine lambda with map, lambda with filter, which makes our task easier. Hope you don't have any doubt in this. Now, I would be giving some homework questions to you. So, the first question would be you have to print, you have to filter those names whose first letter is uppercase. So you have to filter those names whose first letter is uppercase. So and the another question would be, so you can do this with the help of lambda plus filter. Now another question would be, you have to, okay, so we have done map questions, right? Okay. So with the help of map function, so with the help of map function, you have to, with the help of map function, you have to calculate the cube of numbers where numbers is enclosed in a list. So like I have make a list of numbers, you can also make a list of numbers and you have to find the cube of each and every number. Now this was one question. Another question would be, you can do this question with the help of map or filter. So you have to filter those names. Okay, so you have to convert all the names in the list to lowercase. So this was one question. And our last question would be, our last question. So these were are enough questions. Now the questions that we have discussed in our both the practice problem set and also in this session are more than enough to crack a good score in your college exam or school exams, because I have covered each and every concept uh, of what things that we came to learn in our Python. Now one or two questions of other uh, chapters that I'm giving you that are very important for your college exams are print Fibonacci series and print Armstrong of a number. So print Armstrong of number. So these both are also very uh, important questions that can come in your SEM exams. Uh, Probably I would not say it would come in your school exams, but it can come also. But for your SEM exams, it may come. And these questions that we have discussed till this lecture, from past three lectures, we are discussing almost questions. So I hope that all your concepts would become a lot more stronger than the earlier, because in earlier we don't have this we don't have done so many questions, but from the previous three lectures we are doing a great amount of questions. So I think your concept would be a strong now. So this was our this was the case of our, you can say, uh, all the topics of Python that we covered in this playlist. It was nice that I teach you. It was also my first time. As you can see, I have little hesitation, but yeah, it was so much fun teaching you all. And thanks for your support. Uh, It wouldn't be possible without you, but yeah, we made it. This is our 10th lecture. Uh, Honestly, when I was doing my first video, I thought it would be difficult because a lot of people are watching me, and sometimes the sport speaks itself. So yeah, thank you, but you didn't let me down. So, and also one more important thing, I have attached the notes of each and every chapter. Uh, I would be including the notes of this chapter as well in the end. So do see the notes as well. Till then, thanks for all your support.